And we are live. What's going on, everyone? It's Talks with Kenny here today. It's been a crazy October surprise month, correct, guys? Because we're only 4 days in, and the amount of storylines, news that just drop within a week, it is ridiculous. Like, not even it's not even a week. 4 days, 4 days. In 4 days, Donald Trump gets a new evidence surface of a possible indictment after the election. 4 days into October, we find out FEMA went broke, giving billions of dollars to illegal immigrants to resettle in other areas of the country. Yo, what is going on here? We got union bosses. I found out a union boss get paid more than $500,000 a year to what? Organize people to revolt to cripple our economy. Make it make sense. This is the kind of storylines we have today, and I want to get all into it. But before I go into it, I want to give you the quote of the week that I felt really encapsulate this entire October chaos, this entire October surprise that we find ourselves in. Emotions neither prove nor disprove facts. If there was a time when any rational adult understood this, but years of dumbed down education, I repeat that again, years of dumbed down education and emphasis on how people feel have left too many people unable to see through this media gimmick. Thomas Sowell, wiser words have never been spoken. And I acquit a lot of this, like the state of where we are today, is the fact that we lack wisdom in this day and age in our culture. I don't understand when we moved away from rationale. I don't understand when adults start saying, oh, but we feel like, and this what got us into this immigration problem in the first place, right? So let's get into the story. The first story I want to highlight into this live stream is Hispanic support for Democrats plummet, posing challenge for Kamala Harris. Harris currently leads Hispanic just by 12%, a minus 50% drop from Biden's 2020 support. And I think this is mainly Latinos and other Americans of Hispanic descent experiencing the negative outcomes of Democratic policy, experiencing the negative outcomes of open borders, right? The disasters hit North Carolina. We all saw that. Georgia, I believe only 11 out of the 90 counties actually got help in Georgia. This is something that is going to unravel the Democratic Party. I honestly believe that because I'm seeing a lot of black people, Hispanic people starting to wake up to this stuff. It's like, yo, you're treating these people better than us. We pay your taxes. We vote you into power, yet you're giving all these people all this stuff. I recently found out Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, just finished finalizing another 100 mil for illegal migrants again. Like, make it make sense. Democrats are continuing to lose ground amongst Hispanic voters, which could end up hurting Kamala Harris in November. The Cook Political Report database of crosstabs from polls showed that Harris currently leads Trump amongst Hispanic voters by an average of 12 points, a significant drop from Biden's 23-point lead in 2020. Biden lead has also dropped from Hillary Clinton in 39 points lead in 2016. So it seems like the Hispanic voters are waking up to what's going on with the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party can promise you a lot of things, but at the end of the day, the government has limits. The government is not a god. The government can't do everything for you. The government is an administrative state. The government is merely the referee. And last time I checked, when you play a game, you don't bet on the referee to help you win. You expect the referee to make sure all things are equal and the rules are applied the same. But with Donald Trump getting Jack Smith case, unsealing this evidence and trying to make a whole nother hoopla with lawfare again, it just makes the Democrats look desperate. And I think this is why their support has been trending downwards for Hispanic voters. From 2016, Hillary Clinton had 39%, at a 39-point lead with Hispanic voters. Then Biden only had 23-point lead on Hispanic voters. Now down to 12. Almost lost half of the points. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is probably the worst candidate in recent memory. I did a lot of videos. I got a lot of pushbacks, but I don't give a damn. Because look at this, a political science commentator wrote in the Liberal Patriot newspaper this week that Democrats underestimate the seriousness of the problems for three reasons. And after I go through the 3 reasons, I'm gonna highlight another reason why all Americans are threatened by mass immigration, right? Number one, they don't realize how big the shift is. Two, they don't realize how thoroughly it undermines the most influential Democratic theories of the case for building their coalition. And three, they believe that any Hispanic flirtation with GOP is merely temporary. They'll come back home to the Democrats, he wrote. And there's that same type of thinking with black voters. I noticed that a lot with black Democrats. Black Democrats were like, oh, they're going to come home to the Democratic Party. I don't think so. Not if I have anything to say about it. I don't care if only 2 people see my videos. I don't care if I only get 50 views on this video. It doesn't matter, because this form of outreach is better than me going down on the street and trying to haggle people in their day-to-day life. Keep underestimating. Like, the Democratic Party has taken this coalition they built for granted. And one of the strategies that I appreciate about Trump is that it don't seem like he takes his people for granted, right? Also noted, the political commentary also noted that the U.S. Census showed that Hispanics are the largest non-white population in the nation. Imagine that, black people. You've been in this country longer. You have a longer history in America than Hispanic voters, and the Hispanic vote is now the second largest voting bloc in America. That was supposed to be black spots, right? And growing. Hispanic currently occupy roughly 19% of the U.S. population, with African Americans making up 14%. And you know why African Americans been hovering around 14% for a long time? Abortion. In New York, there's more babies, black women in New York. The most dangerous place to be a black baby is in the womb of a black woman. Make it make sense. In New York. I had to specify that. In New York. In New York, there's more babies aborted than born. Black women abort their babies more than they give birth to their babies in New York. But pro-abortion, yay. You 13% of the population, but you commit 40% of the abortions, black women, yay. 1 million abortions happen a year. 40% of those abortions are black babies, but you don't call abortion racist. Liberal women, always using something to justify, just like Emhoff. A weak, effeminate man, if he abuse you, it's fine. But God forbid a traditional man lay a hand on a woman, now all of a sudden y'all outroaring in the streets. This is the hypocrisy we're calling. And I think a lot of people are just seeing it. They're done. Harris is likely to win the Hispanic overall, but just as Biden did in 2020. But it doesn't matter. Trump don't need to win a lot. He's making inroads in the minority vote. Like I said, Trump lost the 2020 election because of the white male vote, because of white voters. White voters defected to Biden. That's why Donald Trump lost. Donald Trump gained with black voters. Donald Trump gained with Hispanic voters. Only white voters lost support. Donald Trump lost support with them. And that is the Democratic Party trying to pitch to them? No. You saw Teamsters. They pretty much endorsed Trump. But what the union bosses said, and we're going to get to the union bosses later in this video, but the Republicans continue to gain ground amongst these voters. Block means Democrat will have to make up the votes somewhere else. You think white people, I don't mean to racially exclude you or racially point you out, but I have to make this point. You think the Democratic Party is trying to message to white people right now? They only message to white liberal women, to make white liberal women feel good about themselves, to make them feel like they're so morally superior. Oh, white liberal women, you're going to help the black woman, support the black woman. How are you supporting the black woman? By introducing record high inflation. How are you supporting the black woman? By allowing all these illegal immigrants to come through their country, come through their town, take job opportunities away from them, increase crime in their areas. I'm looking at you, Chicago. I'm looking at you, Brandon Johnson. How is that helping black women? But you want to keep supporting Kamala Harris because of symbolism. Go back to the thesis of this video. Emotions neither prove nor disprove facts. There was a time when any rational adult understood this. But years of dumbed down education, like, make it make sense. You want to elect a woman who, by her actions, by her accomplishments, everything she supported and did, ended up hurting the American people. And you're surprised why are the Democratic Party losing Hispanic voters? Why is the Democratic Party losing young men? This is why. Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, voting for the same party over and over again, and not expecting a different result. Even though Biden won the Hispanic vote in 2020, President Donald Trump improved his vote share in 78 of the America's 100 majority Hispanic counties. The Daily Wire reported that at the time, In writing about the phenomenon, Politico Mark Kuboto noted that Donald Trump also did better with Hispanics in exit polls of each of the top 10 battleground states. Now, we're going back to the battleground states. Illegal immigrants population more than quadrupled in swing states since last election. Remember the time I made a video about how Congress did not want to pass a law to be stricter on who is allowed to register for votes, aka non-citizens will not get voter registration, will not be allowed to get voter registration, and all the Democrats voted against it. And all of a sudden, all these swing states, they're sending all these illegal immigrants to resettle there. This is where your FEMA money is going to, American voter. I highlighted numerous times on this channel how Democrats benefit from illegal immigration. They do. Democrats benefit from illegal immigration because illegal immigration helps them. They know that illegal immigrants look favorably on the Democratic Party. If you look at the stats, if you ask an illegal immigrant, hey, if you're allowed to vote, which party would you support? 62% of them say it'll be the Democratic Party. So Joe Biden and Harris let 15 million people cross the border illegally, give them temporary worker status, temporary protection status. And if given the chance, these illegal immigrants will vote for Joe Biden at a 62% clip. When we want to close down the border and the Democratic Party fights tooth and nail not to close the border, it's because they see that every illegal immigrant they see come into the country, that's a new Democratic voter in the Democrats' perspective. I talk about this numerous times, but I digress. Enough of me talking. I want you guys to listen to this video. This is a black guy. You're going to hear it. That the FEMA stuff, I think, is really going to increase support with minority voters because they are starting to see the game. And they actually felt the tangible effects of voting for Kamala Harris administration. I digress. Let's get into the clip.
Man, if I was in front of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, my direct approach to them would be like, man, what you expect people to do with $750? Hold on. This ain't even about being grateful and ungrateful. Hold on, let's just keep it in perspective. What you want people to do with $750?
Be happy.
What you want people to do who get up from the 9 to 5, second shift, third shift, sometimes 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs, getting paid every 2 weeks, barely getting by, going to the grocery store, maybe about 2 or 3 bags and spending $60 just on 2 and 3 bags, going to the gas station, car breaking down, sitting in their car thinking about, oh, well, this bill ain't gonna get paid this week because I gotta buy food because my family need to eat. But I mean, what they gonna do? People who done lost their lives in the storm, while you on your airplane, while you going home to your family, sitting on the beach.
I think it took Biden, 7 days to finally respond to what was going on in North Carolina. They asked, hey, Biden, did you hear about the storm? Joe said, what storm? The state of our presidency, you guys. And you hear the emotion. I think when I did that video, I was pretty passionate in that video when I was talking about how FEMA mismanaged the funds. That something was supposed to be for hurricanes. And you see the sentiment. And I'm like, yo, you want black men, like black women expect black men to follow behind this? Oh, no, Trump 2024. I'm riding with Trump.
Sitting FEMA, getting on the little teleprompter, getting on making interviews and saying this is all you can give people who were born right here in the USA, American citizens. And you want to offer them $750? Okay, won't you tell the people the real? I'm sorry. Us that are smart know why you only offer them $750. Because the people in these different countries, which bleep, I don't give a F about, that you're sending billions and billions and more billions and more billions.
Y'all get the point. Oh, that boy was about to go. He was about to cook, guys. That man was about to cook. Should I let him cook? I got more for you guys. But this man was going in. Look at this. This is the change in household net worth since the start of Biden's presidency versus Trump's presidency. When adjusted for inflation, we all lost money across the board. And you wonder why the working class workers are not supporting Kamala Harris. You wonder why young men are not getting behind Kamala Harris. Because remember, the number one issue for young men is the economy, inflation. Those are the top issues for men. And Kamala Harris is a part of the administration, right? And all these people who keep saying, "Oh, Kamala Harris is just the vice president." Here's Joe Biden today. This is what he had to say about that.
There have obviously been a number of crises that the country has been facing over the past several days, with the hurricane, with the port strike, with the situation in the Middle East. Can you talk about how your vice president, who is running for the presidency, has worked on these crises and what role she has played over the past several days?
Well, I'm in constant contact with her. She's aware we're singing from the same song sheet. She helped pass all the laws that are being employed now. She's a major player.
She what? Wait, Joe Biden. Are you telling me that Kamala Harris had something to do with the current state of the outcomes and policies and an environment that's been created right now with the inflation? I mean, she was I heard, shout out to people, I forgot who said this. I heard Kamala Harris is the vice president with some of the most tie-breaking votes as vice president in U.S. history. 34, I think, tie-breaking votes she casted as vice president. That means she had a lot of power as vice president. You can make the argument that Kamala Harris is one of the most powerful vice presidents in U.S. history because she has one of the most highest, if not the highest, amount of tie-breaking votes. That's a lot of leverage a vice president had. You don't tell me that Kamala Harris can set the agenda and influence a campaign? What you said, Joe Biden? I didn't hear that.
She's aware we're singing from the same song sheet.
From the same song sheet. So I can take, every bill that Joe Biden has passed that has caused the negative outcomes that we're experiencing today, I could take it as Kamala Harris endorsed that bill as well and supported that bill, which she did with her actual vote. The American Rescue Plan, which has been highlighted to contribute the most to the rate of inflation that caused Joe Biden to have the highest inflation rate in 40 years. The American Rescue Plan. Who was the tie-breaking vote? That vote would not have passed if Kamala Harris did not vote for it. But they want to pretend, Kamala Harris has no power. She's only vice president. What a load of crap. Only a naive college kid can believe that. Sorry, college kids. I know all of you guys are not naive, but only a naive person will believe that a vice president have no power whatsoever. Their job is just to sit there and look pretty. No, they get to get their hands dirty. They get some contributions. They get delegated some responsibilities by the president. The president just sets the agenda. But Joe Biden, keep cooking, because Joe Biden literally said, we coming from the same place. We are the same mind. And publicly, she has not said, look, I disagree with Joe Biden here. I disagree with Joe. She has not differentiated herself from anything, because you want to give Kamala Harris, and this is why I have a problem with the mainstream media, and then I'll finish off the video. Kamala Harris, they want to give Kamala Harris all the props for all the positives, but none of the negatives. Open border, high rates of inflation, right? When we try to tie it in, and I got videos for you, Byron Donalds, I got videos for you. Byron Donalds explained this too, and you always got these Democrat lackeys trying to make excuses for it. I'm tired now. I think Americans are done, especially with the FEMA stuff. I think Americans are done with the ish now. Elections have consequences, people. And it cost you about $1 billion. A billion. You lost $1 billion. $1 billion that could have went to helping North Carolinians in their disaster state. They misused the money to resettle migrants in Ohio, San Diego, possibly Chicago. Who knows? I did a video already. I don't need to rehash it. But in 2 years, they spent $1 billion. How you do that? How? Migrants get $5,000 on their EBT card, and an American citizen gets $750. Wow. Americans feel very appreciated, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. And when Donald Trump went down that escalator, look, I'm going to keep repeating it, because if Donald Trump ever see this video, if someone ever shares this video, Donald Trump, what I'll tell Donald Trump is repeat to American people what you repeated in 2016. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Our FEMA fund, 100% taxpayer funded. And the people who never paid taxes into it or paid very little taxes into it got more of the money than the people who contributed the most to the money. Make it make sense. Wasn't America based on taxation with, you can't be taxation without representation? We don't get to decide where the money go, but these bureaucrats get to, and they use it for their own little manipulative game, moving migrants into swing states to help their odds of success. They want to give these migrants the ability to vote without being an American citizen. How is this not a ploy to solidify Democrat power? And then Democrats want to act stupid. They want to act naive, like Democrats don't benefit from illegal immigration, mass migration. Make it make sense. Your census number grow, you get more electoral votes, the more your population grows. This is why you have sanctuary cities in blue states. This is why you have some blue states that are sanctuary states. This is why they don't want to deport illegal immigrants, because you're a means to end. Hey, you're gonna give our votes more power. That's what's going on in Chicago. That's what's going on in San Francisco, California. I digress. Let Biden continue. This is a kiss of death, because as a voter, I don't want to hear this. What? You and Kamala Harris are singing from the same song? Y'all got the same script? I don't like that.
She helped pass all the laws that are being employed now. She was a major player in everything we've done, including passage of legislation which we were told we could never pass. And so she's been, and her staff is interlocked with mine in terms of all the things we're doing.
So she's gonna put in the same people that helped Biden F up the economy. This is the kiss of death, bro. If I was Kamala, I'd be like, no, Joe. But you got Democrat liberals making excuses for her, right? Right? We found out, hey, the border policies that were set, only a small fraction of violent illegals, including those suspected of homicide, are detained. Remember the crime is down narrative that they like to push? Remember in New York, I showed you a story that the New York Post broke that 3 out of 4 crimes are committed by illegal immigrants, and yet majority of them have not been detained for homicide or sexual assault. Is this the border policies of the Democratic Party? Why give these people such special treatment? Yo, America, we better wake up. America, you better wake up. We better wake up. I'm being serious. We better wake up.
A constitutional republic, not a democracy. The ideal of a democracy is universal equality. The ideal of a constitutional republic is individual liberty. A democracy always degenerates into dictatorship, which promises government-guaranteed equality and security, but it delivers nothing but poverty and serfdom for the people it robs and rules. America was founded as a constitutional republic to safeguard the liberties of the people against the tyranny of democracy or of one-man dictatorship. In this century, great strides have been made toward the goal of subverting our republic into a democracy. The foremost tactic of the subverters is subversion of language. By calling America a democracy until people thoughtlessly accept and use the term, the totalitarians have obscured the real meaning of our principles of government.
True words have never been spoken, right? Threat to our democracy. Threat to our democracy. It means threat to democratic power. Because think about it. In a republic, this is the difference between a republic and a democracy to me. A democracy is if an illegal come into your area, they live in your area, they allowed to vote just as you are allowed to vote. In a republic, only certain people are allowed to vote, aka an interest group. What is our current interest group? Americans. Only American citizens are allowed to vote in our elections. But the Democrats keep trying to rechange our governmental system and keep trying to make our system a democracy when we're not. We're a republic. And then they keep trying to, this is the word games that liberals love to play. Is that they know damn and well we're not a Democrat, we're not a democracy. We're a republic. They try to make these little middle grounds. Oh, we're a democratic republic. No, we're not. We're a republic. Only citizens of the country can vote or have say in the elections. Look at throughout the history. Only landowners was allowed to vote. Then we expanded that right. Like, make it make sense. Did that sound like a democracy? There's less landowners than people in the country, but landowners are the only ones allowed to vote. That don't sound like a democracy to me. It's a republic. Only a special interest group is allowed to vote in elections. Usually people who have more skin in the game. Who has more skin in the game if America stays number one, stays the best country without destroying itself? Americans do. You think illegals care about the welfare of the American people, of the American country? Hell no. They care about what they can extract from us because we're socialism for a lot of these illegal immigrants. You don't believe me? Oh, what was that? I hear someone disagreeing with me. Okay, I got something for y'all because I'm tired of it now. I'm tired. You're taking our sympathy, taking our kindness for weakness. Our inflation rate is going down. It's tougher to live as a community here. It's tough. And we're supposed to just sit here and let everyone benefit from us, extract resources from us, pay taxes without any complaints. And what you get for all that? Disrespect, shouted down, gaslight, being labeled a racist because you don't want illegals to continue taking advantage of our system. You want our government to actually shore up our system. Hey, pass the SAVE Act or whatever the act was to ban non-citizens from voting in our election. All the Democrats voted against that. Does that sound like a party that's aligned with your interests, American people? No. But they're spending all your funds that's meant for when you're in trouble, when disaster hits, and they're using it to put these people in New York, fancy hotels, on welfare. They get $5,000 on their little EBT card. And you, house upside down, house underwater in North Carolina. And you have to put a claim in saying, look, this is all the damage in my house. And after you get your claim approved and verified, they give you $750. What an insult to the American people.
¿Y por cuánto tiempo han estado quedándose aquí en el Rojo Hotel?
Desde que yo llegué, de julio,
¿Cuántos meses es eso?
como 7 meses.
¿Y han tenido que pagar alojamiento?
No, nada. No he pagado nada.
Es 100% gratis.
In New York. Look, 100% free. This is socialism. How are we not being treated like slaves? America. How are we not being treated like slaves? I have to pay my mortgage. I got to pay property tax. I got to pay for my living. And the government takes a certain cut out of my income every year. That could have been going to my family. That could have been going to my kids. That could have been invested in myself, in my channel. I could have done a lot more better things with that money they take from the government than what the government's using it for. Then they take my contribution, they throw it in a pile somewhere for their little governmental budget. And then I'm thinking, okay, my money's going to these things specifically for these things. And because the government don't know how to be efficient, they end up overspending or wasting a lot of the money. So then they have to go into other pots. Okay, I know this is for national security, but we really need to help these illegals and we don't have enough money designated for them. So we're going to rebalance our budget. We're going to take some money out of this budget here. Then disaster hits. Oh, we don't have enough money for you, but you have billions of dollars to send to Ukraine. You have billions of dollars to send to Israel. I'm using that to make a point. Is that you can find money to do what you want. But when American people are struggling, crying right now, and right now Congress, I hear, is passing a single issue. Imagine that. Things that Americans been crying for years, yelling at the Congress people to do for years. Hey, pass single issue bills. So that way we know, hey, who agrees with this single issue? Congress never listen. They always pass omnibus bills. All of a sudden, now there's public pressure on Congress. Now they want to pass a single issue bill to refinance the FEMA. Right now, go on your phone right now. Look it up. Congress is meeting right now, reconvening right now to pass a bill to replenish the funds for FEMA. So that way there's enough money for the American people to get back on their feet. Things that we've become, once it's politically bad for them not to do something, that's when they do it. They do something because they have to. And it's time that American voters pay attention. It's time that American voters hold Democrats, a lot of our Congress people, accountable for this.
Sí.
¿Y le dan almuerzo, desayuno?
Sí, le dan comida. Niños personales, nos dan pañales, lo que necesiten ellos.
Y ahí
All taking advantage of us. They're taking advantage of us. And you wonder why Americans want them deported. All of them. Gone. I don't care. You come with your kid, they're going with you too. Oh, I don't want to separate you from your daughter. End of the day, your daughter's your responsibility, so they got to go with you too. I'm tired now. The time for sympathy is gone because these people coming over here, they're not coming they're coming for a better life. They're not coming because they're threatened. They got people coming after them. No, they're coming here because they want cash and prizes. This was last month, September 26, 2024. Right? September 2026. They secure funds. Where they get the funds? I don't know. But they're passing funds like hotcakes out here. And people wonder why these people are so fearful of Donald Trump. Right? I got one more I want to show you because there's this guy I found. He's running in Virginia right now. His name is Captain Ko, Hung Ko. If you're in Virginia, vote for this man. Because this man, he made some great points. And I think this is something that we all can stand behind as Americans. Let's take a look.
The problem we have right now is that we're paying $1 billion a day to feed and house illegal aliens in this country. We're taking care of them better than we've taken care of Americans. We need to be medevacing a lot of these Americans that they're homeless right now due to Hurricane Helene. And we need to put them into the hotels and getting room service instead of giving it to illegal aliens. The problem we have right now
I'm gonna let it play again.
is that we're paying $1 billion a day.
$1 billion a day. $1 billion a day. What's cheaper? Paying $1 billion a day to maintain people who can't maintain themselves in this country? Or deporting them? Democrats always talking about how it's impractical to deport all these people. Yet they find reasons to justify spending $1 billion a day to have these people in our country. Make it make sense. Hunko, bro, that's math. That's math. What's cheaper? What's the cheaper option? What's the more efficient option? Get them out of the country. What's the point of spending more money to have more patrol officers if the point is to bring them into the country and release them? And then we found out many of these people they were releasing to our country, a lot of them are rapists. A lot of them are criminals, endangering the population of the people. And you expect the same people to turn around and vote for you? The audacity of the Democratic Party. The audacity. Government overspending is causing inflation because the checks never bounce. They just increase the money supply. All right, this is what I talked about because, in my previous videos, I had a Democrat or some guy talking about, I don't know anything. I'm talking about inflation. Well, Milton Friedman here is a well-renowned economist, and this is what he has to say, who is the source of inflation.
Keep your eye on one thing and one thing only, how much government is spending, because that's the true tax. Every budget is balanced. There is no such thing as an unbalanced federal budget. You're paying for it. If you're not paying for it through it in the form of explicit taxes, you're paying for it indirectly in the form of inflation or in the form of borrowing. The thing you should keep your eye on is what government spends. And the real problem is to hold down government spending as a fraction of our income. And if you do that, you can stop worrying about the debt.
Which is common sense, right? When you have a debt, you try to keep your debt as lower than your income so that way you'll be able to pay it off. But if you keep spending well above your means, you're always going to stay in debt. And this is what our government is doing to us. And you wonder why inflation rose 20% because of the government spending that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is doing. And what Kamala Harris is doing her new plan. More government spending. More government spending. I repeat, more government spending. She wants to spend billions of dollars for affordable housing when she has billions of dollars to create internet in rural America, and she hasn't even started yet. And she's using some of that funds for climate change. Make it make sense. These people can't be trusted. Kamala Harris can't be trusted. She already shown herself. And I want to get to what, I'm moving along because I think I railed enough against why mass migration is bad. Mass migration will bankrupt this country. But I digress. Here's a clip that I wanted to highlight how Brian Donalds was going to get into this debate with this liberal apologist, all right? And he's going to highlight how the economists, these experts, right, the same economist that's going to be in Harris's corner, he talks about how Kamala Harris was the tie-breaking vote for many of the bills that's responsible for the inflation we all experience now in 2024. Let's take a look at the clip.
Are we thriving? Is our members in your
I would
state,
argue
black
we're not.
folks in your
I would
state
argue we're
thriving?
not really thriving right now. This inflation, which by the way was brought to us by Kamala Harris, has really slowed down people from being able to excel.
By Kamala?
Yes.
The vice president.
oh, Charlemagne.
It's still the president.
Charlemagne, listen, man. When Joe,
you see how ignorant that is, right? And these are going to be the same black people. When you're a black person like me, and you say, "Hey, I'm gonna vote for Donald Trump," they're gonna say you're voting against your best interest, but they don't even understand the influence and power that Kamala Harris had because they're not paying attention. That's one thing that pisses me off. Like, if you want to piss off a liberal, you tell them your opinion and you back it up with facts. That's how you piss off a liberal. If you want to piss me off, you want to piss off a conservative, you want to piss off an independent voter who's paying attention, tell them, gaslight them and saying that everything's fine. The economy is good. Remember that narrative? For months, The Guardian, newspapers like The Guardians were saying, Americans falsely believe that the economy is bad. 2 months later, after that article came out, we found out the job numbers was inflated by 818,000 jobs. The stock market crashed drastically in a couple of days. Inflation was creeping up again. Oh, I thought the economy was good, liberal. I hate this game that the liberals like to play. And it goes back to the very quotes that Thomas Sowell, I referenced Thomas Sowell in the beginning of this video. Adults used to understand rationally that, hey, you can't have everything you want. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. We have to think long-term about these problems. But no, everyone wants to think short-term. You want to lie so your candidate can win. That's the truth. That's the reality of what these liberals are doing. Oh, Kamala Harris have nothing to do with it. I just showed you a clip today. Joe Biden saying that Kamala Harris and him coming from the same script. They're coming from the same side. They have the same advisors. They listen to the same people. They have the same staff. She helped push a lot of the bills that contributed to the state of the country right now. But Kamala has nothing to do with it, says ignorant black man Charlemagne the idiot. Oh, I'm sorry, Charlemagne. I didn't mean to call him an idiot, but that's how I feel. Because these same people will call me a coon. These same people will call me names because I see it differently than they do. Black people, look, at one point, like, ignorance of the law doesn't protect you from the law. Ignorance of policy does not protect you from the outcome of the policy. Oh, I didn't know that policy would do that. Well, when people try to tell you that, what you call them? A coon. I digress. Let Brian O'Donnell break it down for them.
Joe Biden wanted to do his American Rescue Plan. Kamala Harris was the tie-breaking vote in the United States Senate. She broke the tie that started this inflation that has hurt so many people in our country. Everybody listening to your show. It's not true?
First of all, it's
sure you want to go
a
there?
tie-breaking vote.
You sure you want to go there?
Go outside, Congressman, when you go outside.
You sure you
want to
go there? Okay, let's go there.
You got notes. You got notes, Angela, right?
That's fine. I have notes too.
I'm gonna give it to Charlemagne.
Note I have today
I'm gonna give it to Charlemagne.
is that on
I don't
every
even want to
question
hold it.
I've asked,
because Angela, hold on now.
For every infrastructure project in your community,
you can go to
should
third
go
page,
out
just the
and
highlighted
thank
portion.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and the Congress that voted for the American Rescue Plan.
And then the American Rescue Plan also was one of the main contributors to the highest inflation rate in 40 years. The reason why everything's more expensive, gas was more expensive at the time, why food was more expensive at the time. Yeah, you can thank them for that too. This is craziness. Like, and I'm getting a warning right now, but this is the craziness that we have to deal with. You got this lady here trying to make excuses for Kamala Harris. Oh, you should thank Kamala Harris for the roles. Thank her for the inflation too, huh? Thank her for the fact that illegals, they used money that was supposed to be for our protection, right? When disaster hit, it was supposed to be used by the American people for when disaster hit. They reappropriated those funds to help illegals get resettled into our country illegally, by the way, right? Illegally, by the way, right? Let me show you what Americans are dealing with, right? Look at FEMA spent more than $640 million on illegals claims that there's no money for hurricane response. This is what you should thank Kamala Harris for. This is what Angela Yee wants you to be grateful for. that you have the opportunity to suffer in North Carolina with all this by yourself with no aid from the government, but you steadily let the government take money from you. Like I said again, how is this not slavery? When libertarians go, taxation is death, I'm starting to feel that way now. This is how you reuse our money. You take money from the American people. When they're suffering, you give them the bare minimum, but you give illegals $640 million. You put them up in fancy hotels in New York. You spend $20 million, FEMA, to send them to put them in an immigration welcome center. They rolling out the red carpet for these people. For what? They see them as votes. Oh my God. Oh, another Democratic voter in. Oh my God, another Democratic voter. That's how they see these illegal immigrants coming in. And then when they give them the right to vote, it's step-by-step play. They cannot give them the right to vote right now, but they're like, hey, I need my population numbers to increase so I can get so the weight of California's vote has more electoral power. This is what you should be thanking Kamala Harris for.
Sean, this is the gravest betrayal of American citizens this country has ever seen. The reason why those Americans in North Carolina, those mothers, those fathers, those precious little children were left to die, were left on rooftops begging their government for help that never came, is because Kamala Harris turned FEMA into an illegal alien resettlement agency. Its manpower, its dollars, its resources, its mental energy was spent over the last 4 years learning how to do one thing, how to get illegal aliens from outside the country into your town. And so when disaster struck, they were not ready, they were not prepared, they were not capable, and they did not care.
And this is the cost of mass immigration. This is the cost. Everything has a cost. There's no perfect solutions, only trade-offs. When people sit here and pretend, oh, why does it matter to you? These people just want a better life. Yes, but at whose expense? Our expense. They didn't pay into FEMA. They didn't pay a single dime into FEMA. But our government is giving them money, giving them resources, putting them up in fancy hotels. For what? To look good? To bribe these people? And this is why democracy always fall apart into totalitarianism. Because if these people, let's say the illegals get an opportunity to vote. Let's say they're allowed to vote and Democrats win. This is how you get to authoritarianism. Because essentially they bribe these group of people. They give them, oh my God, look, this party put me in a fancy hotel. This party fed my kids. This party gave me free diapers. I left her for free in New York in the most best hotels. I complain about food. They give me food. These people open their doors to me. It creates a sense of loyalty and endearment to the Democratic Party. And then they leverage that and abuse us. Because the illegals ain't paying for it. The illegals get 100% net benefit. And we get a net 100% net negative, net loss. Because the money, they extract money from us. And it's another form of redistribution of wealth. That's why I said for an illegal immigrant right now in the Kamala Harris, Joe Biden administration, we're a socialist country to illegal immigrants. I don't understand how someone could debate this point here I made. Somebody sitting here trying to justify government control. When you give a government power, it'll never voluntarily relinquish it. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to facilitate their power using illegal immigrants. And this is what Hispanics are understanding, because this is exactly how socialism took over Venezuela. Democrats wondering why the Hispanic voters are leaving us. This is why. Because they see the play already. They saw this before in Venezuela. They saw it before in these other Latin countries, Cuba, Nicaragua. They seen it. They seen it. Right? You reselling them in swing states. For what? There's a game plan here. My goodness, man. It's going to be a dark day. A damn dark day if Kamala Harris wins. But do these people listen? No, because your hatred for Trump is more than your love for your country. That's the reality with a lot of liberals in this day and age. Oh, don't believe me? Right? There's a video I want to highlight before I go further. Is that the wrath of the American people, bro? This is why this is how Trump won 2016. people realize that, yo, these people don't care about us. They don't give a damn about us. They're sitting here trying to use us, divide and conquer. Right? Lie about Trump, because Trump is literally the only option that we have to get back at these people. Trump suspended his campaign to help with Hurricane Helene, And what Kamala Harris did, continue a campaign. She took this as an opportunity. But Trump racist.
Chuck, I don't agree with that. People were outwardly racist while Trump was in office. He gave them white people.
Like who?
He made it comfortable for people to be outwardly racist about how they feel. Chuck,
no, he didn't.
The climate was a lot different.
Studies came out about the racial divide trending in the wrong direction in 2013 when Barack Obama was entering his second term. When
Trayvon Martin. That's where, like, when I look back in history, I said, what was the spark? What caused this idea of identity politics to run into the forefront of our political discussion? Because when Obama came into office, it was a different America before Obama came out of office. When Obama came into office, he was talking like this. If I do not win as president, it was not due because of the color of my skin. It was due because I wasn't able to articulate a vision that the American people can get behind. This is what Obama was saying in 2007 when he was running for president. That if he lost, it wasn't because of racism. If you ask Obama now, let's say Obama ran 2016 and he lost to Donald Trump, he would say he lost because of racism. You would have gotten a different Obama. It was a different America back then. That's why I look fondly on the 2000s. I think 2000s was peak America. After Obama came in, different. Division, Wall Street, identity politics, that's when it took over. That's when the divide and conquer happened to the American people. And I'm asking, we have to unite under one singular vision. This is why the left pushes multiculturalism, because this is the only way the left wins. The left can only win if they're able to divide us and categorize us as different people and not see that we all have a common interest. We're all Americans. We're all getting screwed here. Black people are getting screwed because now they're replacing them with illegal immigrants who's going to be more loyal than they are to the Democratic Party. They take resources from black. Look at the black jobs. I talked about a story how they deported 600 illegal immigrants and they're occupying jobs. And within the month, those same jobs that those illegal immigrants were occupying, Americans fill those jobs. But the left and the media keeps pushing this narrative. Oh, these are jobs that American people don't want to do. Excuses, lies. This is why the minorities, if you vote for Kamala Harris, you're voting for your own best interest as a minority because you're easier to replace. Look, the black community, I already pointed out, Hispanics are the second largest voting bloc in America as a racial group, as an ethnic group. How is a people that's been here less time than you already outpace you in population numbers? Because of abortion. Another policy position that the Democrats love to push on black women. Black women love to embrace my body, my choice, my body, my choice. Okay. But you held your people back. So are black women coons because they abort their babies more than they were born in New York? Are black liberal women coons? I want a black liberal to answer that question. Are black women coons? Because they're voting and supporting a policy that has kept the black population stagnant throughout all the years since the 50s, since the 1960s. If abortion was banned in 1972, the black community right now would have been the second largest population. That's not a lot of voting power. That's not a lot of political leverage that the black community could be using right now. And you wonder why your vote is used and abused because a smaller population is controllable. This is why they have to divide you. But if we all saw each other as just nothing but Americans, it's hard to divide people who have a common interest. And right now, our common interest is make America great again. Let's make America better. But how are you going to make America better by voting in the same administration, by voting in someone from the same administration and expect something different from her? When you just heard Joe Biden out of his own mouth say, yeah, she did everything. We come from the same song. We have the same script. She supported everything that I supported. And she never publicly said anything where she differed from Joe Biden, none of that. But I'm supposed to expect change from her? What a load of crap. But hey, you know, they throwing red meat to their tribal voters. But I digress. Let's continue with the clip.
and the Black Lives Matter movement jumped off. Let's not make it seem like Donald Trump led to this big increase in the racial schism in this country. That happened under Barack Obama. Since we want to go there, since we want to go there.
But did it happen?
Since we want to go, it happened. Yes, it did happen. We talk about one-way aggression. You allowed to be openly racist towards one particular group of people, and it's white people. Let's call a spade a spade.
White dudes are pussies.
White men are the issue.
White men are the biggest threat to America.
Look at that. Racism. Imagine I said that. Black people are the biggest threat to America. Imagine I said that. You would have called me a racist. But you letting people, look, this is what I'm talking about. Consistency. Black people want to cry racism. They want to cry victim when they get caught, when these racially charged things are pointed at them. But they're the same people who participate in the racially charged narrative. This is how you divide and conquer a nation. You divide the people. You make the people see how they're different. And then you make them you make them fight amongst each other. That happened under a Democrat administration. This is what Obama brought into America. Because 2008, I grew up, I was in middle school, I think. I was like a freshman in high school, I think, when Obama won his presidency. And I remember clearly how different America was. And then after he come out, Trayvon Martin, if I had a son like Trayvon, I'm like, yo, that's not what a president is supposed to be saying. And he exploded this stuff. Because I think he realized the Democratic Party needed racism. They needed racism to win. They needed people to be at each other's throat. Because if we all had the same mindset, right? We want what's best for this country. Hey, these illegals, they're taking jobs away from American citizens. Oh, but it's only affecting white people. It doesn't matter. That's an American citizen. If we all saw each other as one people under God, like our Constitution, Bill of Rights says, they can't pull this crap on us. When we hear a black person say, oh, white people are a threat to America, every American, Asian, Hispanic, white, black will call them out and say, don't be using racially charged language like that. That's not right. Just like we can't say that all black people are criminals, how can you say all white people are a threat to America? What kind of racist ish is that? But when black people are held to the same standard, because this is what black people wanted, right? Black people wanted equality, but they can't take equality. That was some racist ish this dude just said. But black people find ways to condone it. Oh, black people can't be racist, using racism to justify racism. In this modern day and age, many black people, especially black liberals, black Democrats, they use racism as an alibi to excuse their bad, negative behaviors. And that's a fact. You 30% of the population, but you commit 50% of the crimes. And instead of acknowledging the bad behavior that your community, your men are creating in our society, you want to blame systematic racism. You want to blame the system. You want to see another stat? You want to see another inconvenient truth about stats? Everyone talks about how bad the crime rate is in America. But did you know, if you control for black people, if you remove black people out of the equation, America will have the same amount of crime rates as Finland and these other countries that have lower crime rate. We'll be amongst the lowest crime rate countries in the world if we remove just black people from the statistics. So whose fault is that? If I told you, hey, you're creating a negative environment inside a situation, a normal person will look back and say, okay, what am I doing wrong? And that's all America is asking black America to do. Hey, what are you doing wrong? How are you contributing to the bad situations that's happening in your environment? Because at the end of the day, it's not just the system. You playing a part into it too. The fact that you vote Democrat for 60 straight years at a 90% clip, that's you playing into the system. Because at the end of the day, you put these people in power. And then you're gonna cry and complain about Brandon Johnson when how much percentage of the black vote did Brandon Johnson get? I'll wait. Over 70%, I bet. But you want to complain about Brandon Johnson, but you elected him. You elected Joe Biden. This is the outcomes of your choices, black America, but you want to pretend that you have you had no part to play in this. It just happened to you. You didn't do it. You didn't participate in it at all. You want to blame the system. The system's bringing us down. The system making it hard to live for us. But you voted for the people that's running the system, though. So aren't you not culpable in the system as well? And this is what I'm talking about. Using racism as an alibi to excuse themselves. And then they're going to try to gaslight people like me. Nah, y'all not going to emotionally manipulate me to go along with y'all nonsense. If you ask black people, if you ask Hispanic people, If you ask Asian people, if you ask white people, who is most likely to be the most racist racist group in America? All of them say black. Even black people say black. Because only a black person feel comfortable openly being racist to another racial group. You want to hear it again?
Hey. White dudes are pussies.
White men are the issue. White men are the biggest threat.
Imagine I said black people are the issue. I don't specify anything about race. I said, hey, black people need to look at their behaviors as a community and change their behaviors of their community. Because if they change their behaviors, they change their outcomes. But black people don't want to hear it because it's hard. It's hard to look at yourself in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm mostly to blame for the bad outcomes that happened in my life. I failed the test because I didn't study, not because math is racist. But they'll find anything to latch on to absolve themselves of personal responsibility. It's a two-way street. If you're coming in with racially charged language, don't be surprised when people don't want to be around you. And then black people will take that as racism. No, you just have a bad personality and it's turning people off and people don't want to be around you. Because they always complain about white flight. White flight, oh my God, when a large group of black people move into a neighborhood, all the white people leave. That's a lie. Black people are the quickest one to leave. Ask Stephen Curry. They was about to build up a neighborhood near his Oakland community. He was one of the loudest people to push back on the amendment, on the proposition. Get out of here, bro. I'm tired of this nonsense. Black people want to be treated like retarded children because of their skin color. How is that not racism? You want to be victimhood? Oh, I can't be racist because I'm black. Racist ass. That's racist. That's racist. You can't do something because you're of your skin color? Really? Really? I'm powerless because of my skin color. I'm tired of this weakness in the black community. And it's no wonder we don't prosper. Because this is the mentality. This is the popular mentality to have in the black culture. To be a victim. To be inferior to other groups of people. I point, hey, Asians do this. If black people do this, we could do it too. We're not Asian. Like their destiny is set in stone because of how they were born. I don't subscribe to that logic. Racism can't stop me. It never could, it never will, and it never can. This is the least racist time in American history, and black people are complaining about racism the most. Make it make sense. Rich black people on this TV, you see them. These are rich, famous, successful black people complaining about how much of a victim they are. Tired of this nonsense. Tired. Let's continue. I know I went on a little rant. Let's continue.
To America. They are.
You got analysts on MSNBC, CNN openly referring to Donald Trump and his voters as Nazis. Nowhere in popular media do you see white people saying the kinds of things that you see people saying about white people on national television, from Joy Reid, Trevor Noah, Don Lemon, over and over again.
But Chuck,
you don't see that anywhere else.
Because you can't get on mainstream media and make light of other races doesn't mean that the racial climate is still.
But you're sowing it, and your racial comments are given more of a platform than other people's racial comments. What does that tell you? What does that constantly tell the community? What that constantly tells the society? That it's okay. You got permission to do this. Because you are allowed to spew racial crap on mainstream channels, on TV, on news outlets. You're allowed to claim racist ass. I'm done. I'm done. You getting co-signed to be racist towards white people, and that's his point. You proving his point. You can't be racist to a black person, but a black person could sure hell be racist to you, Asians, and Hispanics. Hell, Jewish people are starting to get some of that racism on them too by the black community. And the Jewish people are the only ones that was willing to push back. Hey, these black people are kind of anti-Semitic. Because Jewish people, you played a part into this, Jewish people. Don't get mad at me. I'm just a messenger. When black people kept going with this systematic racism narrative, and they're saying, oh, all these people in positions of power are white. And then you get mad at these black people, these same black liberals that do the same logic they do with white people. Oh, look, all the CEOs are majority white men. Look at all the people in position of power, majority white men. And then when they go into the music industry and they see that, oh my God, this Jewish person's in power. Oh my God, this person happens to be Jewish and he's running this label. Oh my God, Jewish runs the music industry. Anti-Semitism. So that means when black people are going out here and saying, oh, look at all these white men in power. Look at all these white men in positions of power and authority and influence. You're letting black people get away with racism. This is what Jewish people just admitted to me when they get mad about black people doing the same logic. Hey, we find a racial ethnic group in certain positions of power and influence, and we equate them to trying to taking over the world. But you let black people do that to white people for centuries. And now you want to correct the behavior because now they're coming for you, Jewish people. This is the hypocrisy I'm calling out. Jewish people are liberal until the liberalism come right back to bite them in the A. The biggest perpetrator of hate crime towards Asians are black people. No one wants to call that out. The biggest perpetrator of interracial crimes is black people, black perpetrators. Black on white crime is 85% of the interactions between the two groups when it comes to crime. Only 15% of interracial crime is white on black crime. It's usually black on white crime. So can I not make the argument that black people are responsible for majority of hate crimes in this country? If hate crime is the only distinction is when a racial group attacks another person from another racial group, make it make sense. But when white on black crime happen, the media's they make sure you know about it. They make sure you hear about it. But the other way around, nah, they don't want to cover it because it's too common. It's common. It's common. Look at the stats. Don't get mad at me. Look at the stats. A black man is more likely to die at the hands of another black man. All these black rappers that got killed, who they got killed by? Black people. Black men. But white supremacy, oh my God, the racial narrative, Trump. Fear-mongering over nothing. It goes back to my very same point. And this is what this October, it feels so chaotic and we're only 4 days in. Like imagine that. We're only 4 days into October. It's already off the chain. We had a war start. Missiles getting launched. They still practicing legal warfare against Donald Trump. You found out the government's misusing your money to funnel in people from outside your country who don't pay a single dime into the system. They paying them all this money. And here's little old you only get $750 while they get $5,000 in EBT cards. They get free housing. They get free supplies, free food. And you looking at me crazy when I say I'm voting for Trump 2024. Only a liberal can be this naive.
The reason why the racial climate is what it is because that's what critical race theory seeks to do. It seeks to polarize for the purpose of finding people who are sympathetic to your cause. And you keep on dividing one group onto itself until you create a group of disenchanted, angry, dysfunctional people that you can then use for the purpose of your liberation. That's not my words. Those are the words of Herbert Marcuse himself. Communist, anybody talking about race socialist in this country or talking about critical race theory and have never heard the writings of the words of Herbert Marcuse?
Herbert Marcuse was a socialist, communist. This guy, he is the brain trust. He was the father of the intellectual progressive socialist in the academic institutions in Harvard, Yale. You see all these people and why a college system is such a woke machine? It's because of this guy, Herbert Marcuse. It's because of him. He created the doctrine of the left. Slander your opponents, accuse them of what you're doing. This is socialism tactics. Take over institutions of education so you can condition and train the minds of the future leaders of a country. We're living the results of it. Look at the stats. Socialism is as popular as capitalism in this day and age. Critical race theory is based on socialism. The revolution, we want a great uprising. Instead of making it a class war, they made it a race war. That's what critical race theory is all about. And people just get fallen on because it confirms how they feel about themselves, or they found it alluring to see that, hey, nothing's my fault. To excuse all responsibility to my skin color. Or I can't help the fact that I was born black. This is why these things are happening to me. I can't do nothing about it but revolt against a system. Create a boogeyman to justify your inadequacies. When in reality, it's you. Your decision-making is keeping you in that place. Your environment put you in that place, aka your parents facilitated that place. But you don't want to blame your parents. You want to give your parents a scapegoat. Your parents don't want to take responsibility for putting you in a bad neighborhood with bad opportunities. They don't want to take responsibility for that. So they're going to say it's racism. They're going to say it's because of redlining. They're going to say because the white man's on their neck. Creating all these excuses, creating this fixed mindset that people are helpless because of their skin color. And then you get disgruntled, angry people. And you wonder why black culture is the way it is. I digress.
You cannot sit at this table and talk because you don't know the theory, you don't know the science.
But like somebody never heard of them, but in their own eyes, they look out into the world and think, yo, that shit is fishy to me.
I don't give a damn about what you go out in the world and see.
A racial slur was spray painted on the front gate.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is dealing with a racist
News found in the garage stall of Bubba Wallace.
See, this is all about narrative weaving and storytelling.
Yep, remember, it's all about narrative weaving and storytelling. Remember the Josie Smollett thing? How everyone fall for it? Because you've been conditioned and trained to look for this stuff from academia. Confirmation bias. Racism has become a religion in the black community, in the black culture. Tell me I'm lying. If you're a black person, tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me racism isn't a religion in the black community. I'll wait. Y'all worship, y'all think Jesus can't do nothing about racism. That's how much I worship racism. Jesus said, I raise overcomers. If God's with you, none can be against you, except if it's racism. This is why I say, that's why I laugh at these black Christians who are Democrat and they believe all this race narrative. I'm like, yo, God's with you. Who could be against you? That means you don't have faith. You have faith. That means a lot of these black Democrats have more faith in racism than they do in themselves. And they've been taught that by the media. I already told you, 58% of Democrats trust the legacy media. And the legacy media is only going to show you narratives that they can craft the narrative, the storytelling around, so that way they can get you to do the things they want you to do, and that's to vote for Kamala Harris, to see the world in their lives, to control your perception, because the liberals, the left, believe if you control people's perceptions, you control people's reality. And they want this to be your reality. They want you to see race everywhere you go. They want to see you as a victim everywhere you go. They want you to see America as the worst thing since sliced bread unless a Democrat's in control, unless a Democrat's in power. And Hispanics are waking up to it because they experienced this already. A lot of them were warned by their elders, their grandfathers. Hey, this is exactly how Maduro got us. This is exactly how Chavez got us. Don't fall for it too. Because that's wisdom. Wisdom is learning from experience. Wisdom is knowing, hey, these things are undeniable. These things never change. Wisdom is knowledge of the unchangeable. History always repeats itself. If it happened before, it can happen again. And that is the warning the old always give to the young. Don't think you're different from us. A socialist warned in the 1959s to the American population in 1959 that you may not agree with socialism. You may not even like socialism, but your great-great-grandkids will usher in socialism, and it'll be so far, you incrementally go to socialism that you won't even realize you're already in it. That was a warning from a communist in 1959 to the American people. In 2024, I think he was right. And identity politics play a big part for the division in our country. Because these liberals got us to look at skin color first, character second. When character decides more of your outcomes than your skin color. I'm a black man just like any other black man, but I don't think racism hold me back. I don't think white privilege I think white privilege is a myth. White privilege doesn't exist. It only exists in the mind of the black person to make himself feel to make him feel inferior to the white person. To make him believe that he can't do things because a white person's in the same room as him. And that he needs the permission of white people to be successful in this life. That's what affirmative action is about. Getting permission from white people to be successful. When I don't need no one's permission. I digress.
Because they play upon people's emotions and how they feel. If I go to a doctor and tell a man, I feel like I'm having a heart attack, the doctor is going to run a specific set of tests to get to what is actually happening. He has to know the truth. He can't do medical procedures upon me based upon what I tell him I feel. He has to know for a fact. He has to know what he's talking about.
So he has to do a battery of tests.
He has to do a test because if he does the wrong treatment to me based upon what I feel, he could kill me.
That's exactly what happened. Oh my God. Whoa, what an example What an example. And that perfectly explains the chaos. It don't matter how we feel about these things, right? And it goes back to my point here. We're going to go right back to Thomas Sowell because I'm about to close it out. Emotions neither prove nor disprove facts. What are the facts? America is the best place to be black. If you're born in America, if you're a black American, you're considered the top 1% of black people in the world. In the world. You're a top 1%er just merely for the fact that you were born in America. That matters more than white privilege. Being born in a 2-parent household, that is more valuable than white privilege. Right? Instead of looking at behaviors, actions, decisions, environments, that has more to say about what your outcomes will be than the color of your skin. If I was born to a 2-parent, rich, successful, a smart family, the odds of my success, it's almost dumb. It's almost dummy proof. I can't F it up to not be successful in life. While if you grew up with a single mom in a poor area, high crime rate area, it'll be hard to get out of that. Your location decides your outcomes more than your skin color. And I'll debate that with anybody. Because if systematic racism was so systematic, how come Asians are some of the most richest and successful people in America? Black people always want to compare themselves to white people. White people are like the 5th richest person in their own country. And you complain about white supremacy? Get out of here. You may feel like white supremacy is the reason why you're in the bottom, but the reality is it's you. It's your actions. It's your decisions. It's your behaviors that's keeping you in the spot you're in. Because your personal decision making has more of a higher impact on your outcomes, on your life, than any external factor. You have power over your own mind, not outside events. If you know this, you will have strength. That means if you worry about what you can control, 9 times out of 10, you put yourself in a better position. The odds will be in your favor to be successful in life. But that's factual. But people may feel like, oh no, racism. When they put these movies that's catered to black people, it always have to have a racial theme to it. I roll my eyes every time. I can't watch TV anymore because I feel like it's brainwashing. It's trying to dumb me down. Because in science, right? As a scientist, right? As an engineer, you look at trade-offs. You look at factors. And one thing that's everyone always understands is your outcome is never only due to solely one factor. And the fact that we have blatantly believe a narrative where, oh, one factor explains away why there's such discrepancies between the white community and the black community is an asinine, illogical, emotional argument. And this is how the Democrats control people. And Hispanics are waking up to this. And I just hope black people wake up to this. Asian Americans definitely going to wake up to this. I just wish America wake up to this. Because the time of politicians running on our feelings, it should be over. These people should no longer be able to manipulate us into voting along what they want, like sheep to a slaughter. This is why they keep throwing all these charges at Trump, because they want you to emotionally react. See Trump in a negative light, so you vote based on emotion. I can't vote for a convicted felon. I can't vote for a man with all these allegations. This is why they focus on January 6th, where polls show that only 6% of Americans care about January 6th. Make it make sense. But they keep pushing it. A breaking story. January 6th, oh, new evidence about January 6th unveiled. Never before seen information on January 6th revealed. Only 6% of the population care about that. And I bet you majority of that 6% are Democrats. Because that's the narrative they want you to that's the perception they want you to have. So that way it colors your reality. And all I ask is do your own research. Don't get manipulated, because emotions can neither prove nor disprove facts. Just because someone feels so strongly about something doesn't make it a fact. There was a time when rational adults understood this, but years of dumbed down education, and what happened with education, a lot of these leftists, liberals, progressive types took over the educational system and emphasized on people how they feel has left too many people unable to see through this media gimmick. So early education primed a lot of naive young minds to fall for media propaganda, media gimmicks. So when they pull these little polarizing stories, you fall for it, you believe it. You see these people as in a position of authority. You don't think these people could ever be wrong. And then COVID show you wrong. Trump said it came from China. Media said, oh my God, that's conspiracy theory. It cannot came from a lab in Wuhan. 2 years later, everything Trump said was right. Make it make sense. This is how the narrative and credibility starts breaking and cracking. But I digress. I just hope you guys found that insightful. I know I felt like I went all over the place, but I really honed in on the illegal immigration part because I really think this issue is really, it's possibly going to decide the election. And the fact that this all happened 4 days into October. Craziness. We still got many days to go. It's been a wild ride. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like on your way out. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. I do this every Friday nights. Don't forget to take care of yourselves. Don't forget to register for a vote. Make sure you guys are able to vote. Try to bring one other person to vote with you because any day Trump needs to win, bro. These people cannot win. These people cannot win. But I hope you guys have a good weekend, and I'll catch you guys on the next live stream. Thanks for watching. Peace.